All right, so I think we're going to get started. I am one of those people that we call it the Matt Bird Challenge back at the office. I have 115 slides for 45 minutes, so this is like a personal challenge or like a challenge even back at the office. And also, I know that you can smell the food. I always get the session before lunch. I think it's because everyone is like hangry, and since I'm usually talking about email, like people like are angry anyway, because people tend to like hate email. And since, well, you'll see in a minute, but I'm probably going to make you even more angry. So you've been a generally quiet group overall. So please do get angry, not because you're hungry, but just because like I'm going to like give you some shit today. All right. So I'm here to talk about email. This is me. You can reach me at Melodori or Litmus app on Twitter. Litmus app because I work for Litmus. I know I asked in the workshop yesterday, and I see a few familiar faces, if anybody was Litmus customers. Is anybody in here Litmus customers? Yay! I have some swag if you want some. Yeah, Litmus is a software company. We offer like email testing, email analytics, spam testing. As a result of all of that testing, I see a lot of emails. Some are great, some are not great. And so we're going to talk about how to make some better emails today. And I know that you've probably heard a lot of bad news already today, or it just seems like a lot of people that are getting up here kind of giving you guys some tough love, right? Kind of telling you how it is. I am probably not going to make you feel much better about yourselves, at least here in the beginning. But I will say I have to tear you down before I can build you back up, right? So bear with me for a second. So when I tell you that your emails suck, that's what I'm kind of getting after. But it's also, see how the Y is in parentheses? It's not just that your emails suck, it's that our emails suck. Sometimes my emails suck. It's a thing that happens for a variety of reasons. It just happens. It happens because this is you, right? You're wearing 500 hats, and email is just one of them. Or this is you on most days, right? You're like spinning your wheels in a hamster cage saying like, I don't really know, like, why I have to do this email thing again? Like, this sucks, so my emails are going to suck, and I'm just going to move on with my life. Or you're just copying, pasting other things that people give you, and you don't ever get an opportunity to exercise your creative brain, right? So this is why our emails suck. Or maybe you're in this downward spiral, and you're managing like social and email and everything else, and it just becomes this like giant time suck, and you're just like, oh, see, I'm saying suck a lot. So when your emails suck, like, or when your job sucks, your emails suck. Or how about this, the fear, right? When this button pops up on your ESP and it says, so this says ready to send TEDC takeaways webinar invite now, and there's a big button, it's like, are you sure? That doesn't really help either, right? And actually, we have an email design conference every year, and this is what Dan had to say about.
Ever since then, I've had what I call the fear. It's not just the fear, it is the crippling fear. It is the crippling fear that can only come from sending hundreds of thousands of people an email with a broken link or a typo in the subject line and not being able to fix it no matter how much you Google change email after send.
So we can all relate to that, right? That sucks. No one wants to send an email. So his story was, he was telling a story about how he was sending an email for Mother's Day, and he had this like last minute epiphany. He had a beer at home. He was like, we should change the subject line. So he went into an ESP, he changed the subject line from saying, it's your big day, mom, but he spelled mom wrong. It said, it's your big day, mon. Was not working for some sort of Jamaican product or anything like that, right? It was just a mistake. And so we all have the fear, right? So sending emails can be fear-inducing. It can be a time suck. It can be a lot of different things. And so by the end of the day, in most cases, you look like this guy, right? You're just like, I need to get away and have a Mai Tai or whatever it is that you do to relax. And so meanwhile, while we're sending out all these sucky emails because our job sucks, this is what our customers are doing, right? They're getting emails that say, hey, you're receiving this towing alert because the following vehicle has been reported towed. And then so you're like, oh, crap, right? So you go and you reply to the email to say, my vehicle, wait, why has it been towed? But the subject line or the from address says no reply at cityofboston.gov. All right, so this is me, right? I'm like panicking. So then I go and my car's there. but I got an email that says my card been towed, right? So this actually happened to Lauren Smith that works in our office. That's where I got that email from. She got a citation on her car. They sent her an email. They said, we towed your car. She flipped out. She went back. The car's there. So we're sending emails that make people panic because we're telling you that they tow your car and you didn't, right? Or how many of you women, or maybe even men, shop at Sephora? If you're a VIB, it means you spend a lot of money at Sephora, too much money. And they try to get you to spend even more money every year by giving you this 20% off sale, right? So how many of you, I know I literally put this on my calendar because they sell out of stuff. Put it on my calendar. I get to the office early to do my shopping, log in on November 6th at 7 a.m., and I'm filling up my cart full of stuff. This looks like me. I've got there's virtual bags just full of stuff. And then I go to check out, and the site's down. Too heavy a volume, right? So I'm well, crap. I'm going to go home, and I'll try to check out later. So I'm just going about my work, doing what I do at Litmus. And then Sephora sends me a cart abandonment email. Well, their website is down, saying, hey, you left this stuff in your cart. So then I'm right? So this is why our jobs suck. This is why email sometimes really sucks, right? We can have a therapy session about this over lunch or whatever you want to do. But email also sucks because we send people broken emails, right? Here's just two examples. The irony of the one on the left is that it came from the Email Evolution Conference, so you really think they should know better, right? Or we have companies like J.Crew that send emails out with subject lines of puppies and then don't put puppies in the email. They're just haha, we got you there. Or we do things like, say, your new Amazon Rewards card is on the way, but it comes from Chase Fraud Alert. And then we just really kind of suck at personalization, right? Insert band name and hey, first name. So our customers are getting online and saying that we're clueless, that we send them spam. They're just not very happy with what we're sending them. Generally, they're just not feeling the love, right? They're just not feeling it. I don't blame them. So let's unsuck email, right? So this is the part where I build you back up, or I made you laugh a little bit, so that's good. I want you to help make experiences that make your subscribers vomit rainbows. They should be opening up their laptops and their phones and just being thrilled every time you send them something, right? This is me whenever I get really awesome emails that really touch me as someone. I just start crying and I say, it's so beautiful, right? And maybe we should just give email a hug from a really adorable kitten because we deserve it. They deserve it. Everyone deserves it. And so how are we going to do that, right? So the first thing I think to remember is that email is not any of these things. If you were in the workshop with me yesterday, I probably drove this point home pretty clear. But email is not any other medium that you might be working with. It's not any of those other hats that you're wearing. And it's also definitely not a blast, right? I want you all to eradicate this word from your vocabulary because every time you send a blast, you are making, think about it, blast is a weapon of mass destruction. It's something that wreaks havoc and is violent. Don't tell your subscribers you're blasting them. That's terrible. And really, because it's disrespectful to the medium, right? So email's also not dead, contrary to what a lot of people say. Email is like these old grannies that are putting money all over your organization. They're dollar bills, y'all, right? So that's what that's what email is for your organization. It's not dead. It's not a blast, right? It is a really, really powerful marketing tool for your organization and association or your membership or whatever it is that you guys are sending emails for. And so if you haven't figured it out by now, I have a confession to make. I love email. I even have a shirt to prove it, right? I also have pins and stickers over there, and if you want one later, which I suggest you do, you should wear it with pride to embrace your own love of email. And so I want to make it better. I also have a team of people back in my office that love email. Those are all of them and their Twitter handles. You probably, if you ever read the Litmus blog, those are the people that make it all happen. I just sort of tell them what to do, right? They're way better than I am. And so we all love email. And so when we tell people that we love email, we kind of get this what? Email? Why do you love email? It's spam, right? And no. I love email because it's direct. It's quantitative. I get results back in real time. You can't say that about any other kind of marketing or communication you're doing with your memberships, right? You get to deliver an email into someone's inbox and get a response right away that's measurable and valuable. There's nothing better than that. It's like the marketer's dream come true. It really, really is. But we sometimes forget, and this goes back to the blast thing, that email is a one-to-one medium. You might send 500, 10,000, a million emails all at once, but your subscriber is getting one message in their inbox. They don't care that you're sending to a bazillion people. They don't want to be blasted. They want to get a personal, relevant, valuable message in their inbox because their inbox is a very, very, very personal place. And if they've paid you money as your association to get valuable information from you, you owe it to them to give them something really, really valuable that they're going to love, that they're going to vomit rainbows all over their screen when they receive. They want to hear from you. They want a personalized communication. It's also a unique medium, right? I already told you this. It's different than any other thing you're ever going to use. And why is it different? Because there's this concept called the trust bank, right? And I'm going to, borrow, right? That's a nice way to say that. Great content from other people. And so this is from Brendan at Wistia. He presented this at our email design conference last year, this concept of the trust bank. And what it is your organization operates like a trust bank. Every email you send that's awesome and relevant and useful is like a credit into your trust bank. Every time you send a sucky email that makes someone panic or makes them angry or that has broken first name personalization in it, it's a debit from your trust bank, right? And as associations of professionals, you really need to build up that credit in your trust bank, right? So think about that every time you send an email. Is this a debit or is this a credit in the trust bank of my organization? And here's some kind of just interesting quotes, right, from, I'll get to that in a second. But and this is really, really relevant to you guys because when someone subscribes to your emails or in your cases pays your membership or your association money, they want to be in a relationship with you, right? They're inviting you into their inbox. They're inviting you into their lives and saying, I need these resources and the help that you can provide to me. And so Aaron Walther over at MailChimp is like the head of their UX. And he actually wrote a book about like creating great experiences on the web. Not all of it's applicable to email, but a lot of it is. And so here's some really relevant stuff, right? So he says humans want to connect with real people. And to engage with your audience on an emotional level, we have to let our brand's personality show. So even though all of you have just small organizations or memberships, right, your brand still needs to have a personality. And it's okay to let it show. You don't have to be all buttoned up and kind of formal about things. Because those positive emotional experiences are going to train users to fall in love with what you're offering. Emotional experiences help us connect with things. It's okay to have your audience react emotionally. And sometimes that can be a positive reaction, and sometimes it can be a negative reaction. So here's where we're going to go really rapid fire. Here's a lot of different ways that you can help connect with your audience on that like emotional level and connect with them, make them vomit rainbows and cry and just get really excited about the kind of emails you're sending. So the first thing is to give them a warm welcome. Litmus, if you were here yesterday, sends a welcome stream, right? So when you first sign up for our service, we send you a thank you email. It's like, hey, thanks for signing up, and here's some tips how to get started. Then a couple days later, we send you another email. We say, how's it going? And in Litmus's case, we offer them some common resources to some problems that people come up with when they're sending email. In your guys' case, maybe there's some popular resources. Identify if you have evergreen content, like the content on like your blog or maybe your resource center that just proves over and over again that people just love it. Send it as part of your welcome series. Prove that value right up front. Then a few more days into it, we send a personal email from our customer support manager, and we just ask, hey, how's it going? Is there anything we can help you with? And this is an automated email, right? It just looks like it comes from our customer service manager, but we get a ton of responses to this. People that can't figure out how to log in, that are having trouble with something. And this gives us an opportunity to connect with our membership and say, hey, like, how can we help you? And they respond. Then when the end of their trial is over, we say, hey, that went by fast. So we're really transparent. We say, here's how you can cancel your membership. And then if they do cancel their membership, they get an email like a week later from our CEO that says, hey, what could we have done better to serve you? How can we help? Even though you didn't end up paying us, how can we help you? You can also get to know them. And getting to know your audience can be tricky sometimes, but A/B testing is a really simple way to do it. In this particular email, they don't look very different, right? But if you look super closely, you can see that the headlines on these value proposition statements are actually different. We did this test to find out what kind of messaging resonates with our subscribers. We actually found out a lot by doing this, just by testing some headlines on value propositions in our emails. You can also find out, I talked about this yesterday, how commitment phobic they are, right? And we test this by saying either like log in now or start a free trial, learn more. There's different levels of commitment, right? So there's all kinds of A/B tests you can do to learn more about your audience and what they like and other stuff about them. So you also want to honor them and treat them with respect. And this comes down to the preference center, right? You should always make it easy to manage the kind of communications that people are sending from you. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's usually an organization's low-hanging fruit. But if you're kind of missing out on this or somehow not making it easy for people to opt out, definitely take this under consideration. You can also guide them. So TripIt is a great example. They send some really awesome emails. This is actually an example on my trip here from Boston. TripIt is a service where you like forward your plans into them and they organize it all for you. And since they have all this awesome data on you, they send me really relevant emails. They say, hey, your trip to DC is about to start. It's going to take off at 7:55 tonight. It's leaving from gate C28. That's super helpful information. And I know that you guys aren't sending people on trips, but there's also tons of other information. You have data on your audience that you can use in unique ways to help them, to guide them in the right direction. You can also provide them with a lot of value. Make yourself indispensable. So I subscribe to an email called What to Wear. It's specific to Boston right now. I think they're hoping to expand to other cities, but if you want to just check it out, you can get Boston's weather updates every morning. So every day at like 5:30, this guy that lives in Boston wakes up, checks like 5 different weather services, and then crafts this email that tells me what I should wear that day, what are good times to exercise. He even tells you like what Boston sports teams like won yesterday, and if there's a game at Fenway, so you can avoid like driving over there and dealing with all the traffic, right? I love this email. It is so valuable. It's so valuable that when it didn't send out last week one day, I woke up, I kind of heard rain outside, checked my phone for the email to figure out if I should expect rain on my way to the office. Wasn't there. And I literally panicked. I was like, I don't know what to do. That's how valuable this email was to me, that I was willing to tweet about it, right? So do that to your subscribers, right? Make your communications with them so valuable that they literally don't know what to do without them. You can also speak to them personally. I talked about pre-header text in the workshop yesterday. It's that little bit of text underneath the from name and the subject line in your inbox. And a lot of people say, hey, like, you know, having trouble viewing this email, open it in a web browser. And I always say, well, do you really want the word trouble associated with your from name and your subject line in the person's inbox? Probably not. So use this to speak to them personally. If you get personal emails in your iPhone, take a look at how that snippet text actually shows you a little bit of context inside of the email that like your friends and family are sending you. So here's some really great examples, right? It starts from Meetup. Thanks to all you do to create community. Aw, shucks, right? That's really nice. Or from the Chicago, music exposition. How do you choose the perfect acoustic guitar? Cool, I'm into music. That sounds exciting. Or from Nathan Barry. He says, I was wrong. Honesty for the win, right? That's your brand's personality coming through. Or here's a couple examples from Litmus, right? We say for our community digest every week, things we love from the world's best email designers. It's just descriptive. It's straightforward. It doesn't have to be like super interesting, but at least tells you what to expect. Or save the date. Join us in Boston this August for the email design conference. So you can also engage them, or in some cases, maybe even re-engage them. If you have subscribers that haven't opened and clicked for a while, or you're just looking for interesting ways to get your audience excited about your emails, try an engaging or maybe even a re-engagement campaign. So Simply Measured, we hadn't opened it or clicked any of their emails for a while. They said, hey, do you still want to stay in touch? They gave me the options. It's really respecting me as a subscriber and saying, do you want to hear from me anymore? Or maybe you ask in a survey here, I noticed that you haven't been responding to our emails for a while or opening and clicking. How else can we help you? What can we do to make you open and click to be useful to you? Or here's one from Twitter. I have a ton of different Twitter accounts, so they send me all kinds of different emails. I hadn't tweeted from this account in a while, and it says, hey, we've missed you on Twitter. Here's some interesting people that you might want to follow to get you back engaged. Or a note from Runkeeper. I go through spurts where I run a lot and where I don't run at all. That usually correlates with my fluctuations in weight, but maybe that's related, maybe not. And they say, hey, we haven't noticed you haven't tracked any activities for a while. Maybe you want to get in and try this workout or try this new running route, right? You can also tell them a story, and this goes back to that brand personality thing. This is from Charity Water. They sent an email that had this really beautiful narrative in it about some people's access to water and like what they go through on a daily basis to go and get water. And it was moving, and it was just this, again, just this narrative in this newsletter format. You can also let them see your personality as a brand. Wistia is one of my favorite examples of this. If you're not already familiar with Wistia, I'd highly recommend checking them out. If you do any videos, they offer, their tagline is like video hosting for businesses, not cats. So their whole thing is that, like, unlike YouTube, that are like going to show you like your customers videos of cats in the sidebar after they watch your video, it's just your video on their service. So they're really awesome. But all their emails are like super personal. Every email they send has like a little headshot of the person who that email is from with like a personal summary. So like in the one from the blog update in this past month, that's Alice. She says, we've got thumbnail faux pas, video backgrounds done right, data-driven dangers. I hope these are helpful. I encourage you to reply with your end-of-year video plans, cool articles, and everything. Like, love Alice. That's super awesome, right? So don't be afraid to like show off the people that work for your organization or show off you and make a connection with your audience. You can also just show them that you care. And now that this is the holiday time, this is especially pertinent. So TripIt also has this Make-A-Wish campaign they do every year where they encourage, again, they're using data, but they don't really tell you that they're using your data. They help you track your rewards points across different like mileage and loyalty programs too. And so they know the people that have like a ton of miles with specific airlines, and they send targeted communications that they're like, hey, do you want to donate some of your miles to Make-A-Wish Foundation this year? Because they use those miles to send kids on trips. So that's really, really cool, right? It's not a hard sell. It's just showing your audience that you care about this cause and you want to help them get involved. You can also thank them, and this is super easy. It's one of the most low-hanging kind of fruits of data that you probably have. You should definitely know when people signed up for your association or their membership, right? So this is just from a service I use online. They said, hey, today marks a special anniversary. You've been with us for an entire year, and that makes us super crazy happy. Thank you for your loyalty. So just thank your customers for being customers and standing by you and dealing with your sucky emails, right? You can also make them laugh and show them that you have a sense of humor. So we all have those oops emails, right? The ones that go out that we didn't really mean, you know, we didn't listen to the fear quite enough and we pressed send anyway. So this one from Fab I particularly really enjoyed, even though it was a mistake. The subject line was test, PM tracking test, and it was just an email with 2 pictures of cats. That's it. Just pictures of cats. And so I got this really early in the morning, and then probably like 6 hours later, and this was a Saturday, mind you, I got this email, which is really well designed, and it says, oh, hi. Earlier today, we sent you an email that contained nothing but the image of a cat. This was purely, P-U-R-R-R-L-Y, purely a mistake. So please accept our apologies for littering your inbox. So I actually tweeted to them about this, and it turns out that one of their designers, like, spent most of the day Saturday, like, creating this as in response to their oops email. And so, I mean, it's probably not going to make a ton of people upset, but the way they reacted to it, I think, is what makes it really unique, right? So when you do mess up, make your subscribers laugh and have a sense of humor about it. You can also surprise and delight them. So think about what kind of interesting things that you can just sort of make their day with. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. So if you're feeling particularly adventurous, there's lots of cool ways that you can like deal with image blocking. I have a feeling that a lot of you have Outlook subscribers, which definitely blocks images by default. So you can slice up images in really creative ways and then use background colors to create like graphics when images are off, right? Like I said, if you're feeling particularly adventurous, this can be kind of fun. So here's some examples of that. Again, a little bit maybe more adventurous. This was an email that Litmus sent out. You can't tell because it's a screenshot, but that snow in the background was actually like animating. You can like see the snow kind of falling in the background. This was just at the bottom of our newsletter that we sent last year on the holidays. Another really cool email that we sent when we first launched our online community. And so you see all those pictures of like people in the background, but what was really unique about it is that we had accessed Gravatar, which is like a public repository of people that can store like a headshot online. So we had people's individual headshots. So the email that you received was personalized with your image. So you saw your face in the sea of other community faces. And we got a ton of tweets, people saying, hey, like I saw my face in the community email. That's really awesome. So it was really engaging, really surprising. They just sort of loved it. And you can also inspire them. And this could come in a lot of different formats. So, Litmus, we do email. We try to, eat our own dog food or whatever you want to call that, practice what we preach. And so we try to show how to be a good email sender to our audience. Or we'll show off like new tips and tricks or new techniques. And in this case, this email that promoted our email design conference had HTML5 video background. So again, you can't tell, but that like big yellow part in the back was all a video in the background. So inspiring them not only to like attend the conference, but also to make their own emails like really awesome like that. And again, like tons and tons of tweets from people saying, hey, this is awesome, like how do I do that? Like you've totally inspired me, like we want to do it. So obviously you guys aren't going to send like mind-blowing, technically challenging emails, but think about how you can inspire your audience by getting them to be better at what they're doing. Or how can you model your email communications or your communications to them in a way that they should be doing maybe to their staff or to their communities. And so this is another really great presentation that happened at our conference last year from Zachary Hance over at Sprout Social. He talked about what he called the VENT methodology. He said every email that we send has to pass this VENT test. Is it valuable, engaging, necessary, and true? And so all those emails I just showed you, all those ideas about how to unsuck your emails and really engage your subscribers, pass all those tests, right? They're valuable, they're engaging, they're necessary, and they're true. So every time you send an email, kind of ask yourself, is this passing the VENT test? And then tweet at Zachary Hance and tell him thank you for inventing the VENT methodology. All right. So email has a 4,000% ROI, right? That's a stat from the DMA. We all know we got the grannies at the beginning with the dollar bills, right? We know that it has a really, really high ROI. But it also can have an unlimited ROR, which is a return on relationship. You're sending emails, messages, not blasts, to people in their inbox because they've invited you to go there, or they've paid you money to get into their inbox. So capitalize on that return, right? Get as much bang for your buck as you can, but also get as much as you can out of that relationship. Because good emails make people open, and good emails make people click, but really, really great emails make people think, feel, laugh, and act. And that's what's really important, especially in the nonprofit and association world, when that's a lot of what you guys are standing for, right? You have like a higher purpose for what you're doing, and maybe hopefully not in like a page-long mission statement, because I was here for that earlier. That was fun. So ask yourselves, how am I building trust with my subscribers? Am I putting debits or credits in my trust bank? How am I connecting with my subscribers? How am I engaging with them? And then finally, how are you going to love your subscribers? That's what we all want to do, right? We want to love our subscribers. We want to make them vomit rainbows, cry when they see how beautiful they are, and generally just give their emails a hug and your organizations a hug, because that's what we're after, right? And I just thought this was funny from some e-cards. You never want to unsubscribe from you. Aw. That's all I got. How'd I do on time? Cool. So all these slides from today and also the ones from the workshop yesterday are at that landing page at the bottom of the screen there, if you want to grab those or any of the examples from today. I don't want to keep you from lunch, but I'm happy to answer questions or give you iHeart email stickers and buttons as well. Yep.
Was there a trick in terms of where the placement was for their image? So I was asking about the email with the faces, and people said they saw their faces. Was there a trick to the placement of where their face was so that it would stand out to them?
There was. So their picture, so you saw that grid. We actually took 4 of the individual faces that were just like, so those all got displayed to everybody, but then 4 of them were your image. So your image was bigger than all the rest. Yep.
All right, a couple questions here from Twitter, but first of all, Justine, great presentation again. And so if you weren't able to see yesterday's presentation, I encourage you guys to also go out and check that video out on the HighRoad U site. But lots of activity around where do we get the iHeart male T-shirts?
So these are kind of like special edition. People that attended our conference last year got them. I do have stickers and pins, and I can send HighRoad like a bunch of them if you guys want to send them out to the people that did the virtual thing as well. So I would say if you want an iHeart email shirt, follow Litmus on Twitter, and we sometimes do little giveaways and that kind of thing. So we try to, we want them to stay special, put it that way.
All right, limited run, I guess.
Yes, they are limited run.
And just I have been an attendee at the Email Design Conference, which is how I met Justine to begin with. And I just want to plug that because you didn't even plug your own stuff. So you got to have somebody else do that.
I get really shy about like.
Well, I'm going to plug it. It's fabulous. It's a fantastic conference. We highly recommend it. Many of us of HighRoad have gone. It's a really good one. And even I walked away saying, like after that conference, I was like, I love email, And then I came back to making sucky email and didn't like it anymore. But.
A lot of the examples, like as I said, like I borrow from people. A lot of the examples that you saw today, like TripIt presented there, the vent method from Zach from Sprout Social was presented there. So I even learned a ton. I organize that conference and I sort of recruit the people that come and present, and I learn a ton from them, and then I continue spreading the good word. Oh, you can also virtually attend our conference, right? We record the whole thing, and you can buy a package of all the videos online. I think it's like $3.99, and you get 20 sessions. So if that's something you're interested in too, let me know, and I can give you a link.
Fantastic. All right, well, thanks, everybody.